about the absences of the collection, because the collection, there's not everything. So how do you talk about what's not there through the collection, through its presence? It's an exchange that we like to do, and it's really a work that bridges contemporary and past.
Benvenuti a Ciao Bella. I'm your host, Erica Firpo. For the past 20 years, I've made my home in Rome, where I've worked as a journalist contributing to publications including Afar, Washington Post, Lonely Planet, and Travel and Leisure. I love sharing the stories of Italy's pioneering creators, and I'm bringing these stories directly to you on Ciao Bella. Every week, I'm joined by contemporary artists, heritage artisans, designers, culinary experts, innovative aesthetes, and more. At the crossroads of evolution and tradition, the past and the future, they are working and creating to define and redefine 21st century Italy. Join me as we see Italy through their eyes. Sarah shares the reimagining of Pinacoteca Agnelli with its 25 masterpieces collected by Fiat founder Giovanni and wife Marella Agnelli, and Pista 500, Pista 500, the new outdoor contemporary art project.
It's nice to just be able to enjoy this space. So it's very exciting. I was telling Karum that I came up to the Pista 3 years ago and there was nothing here. Yeah. Like it was completely empty, and I was here at 6 a.m, but there was no grass, there was nothing.
Yeah, it's like in a couple of years, everything changed.
So tell me a little bit about this, because tell me a little bit about yourself, because I know before, weren't you the director of Artissima?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I came to Torino.
Oh, that's where
because I'm not from Torino.
Where are you from?
I'm from Trieste, but I lived in the States, in London, Berlin, many years. So
your last name, though, because I was wondering where you were from with your last name.
It's Trieste. It's because of the Austro-Hungarian history. That's why the city has names from all over.
So you were with Artissima for about 5 years?
5 years. I directed the fair, yes.
And that was from what I read, 2012 to 2017, exactly, correct? Yes. And so then you came here.
And then I was named the director of the Quadriennale in Rome.
Oh,
it's an institution, the main institution for Italian art in Roma, and I was there for 3 years directing it, and I curated
the one that they had the big queue.
Yes.
And it was at the...
You know everything.
No, I don't know everything. I have a really good memory. I live in Rome. I know nothing. I just have a good...
You remember the Fuori? Have you seen it? The exhibition Fuori was quite strong statement on inclusion, and it was...
Yes.
It was called Fuori.
I do remember vaguely. I forget a lot of stuff as well. But, okay, so you were in Rome for 3...
So I was curating that show and directing the institution, yeah. We're doing many things for Italian art and traveling around Italy. And then I was called... I was proposed, because this is a foundation, to direct this place, and I said that it could be interesting only if I have the opportunity to work on the outdoor as well, on the pista. So it was kind of a condition.
I think that is a great condition, because this was like, I love this building for the architecture and the history. And that's why 3 years ago I came up and it was completely empty. Yeah. And it's so when I walked up here just now with all the green and tell me a little bit about this project.
Yeah, because when I arrived and I said that I would be interested in giving to this venue an identity, also as production of art, because mostly they were hosting shows before. Mm-hmm. So there was a small staff, shows were coming from the outside, and the pista was not used. So I said, why don't we expand the team, create a curatorial office inside, and so we're all autonomous. We're 13 women. And we are basically doing everything internally. And so when I came, I really kind of recreated the structure of the museum, and also decided that we will have 3 main projects that shape the identity. So the collection is the core, and it's really an opportunity to bring the public closer to contemporary art, because it's such an important art historical heritage there, and that we are very happy to work with, but how to connect it with contemporary art and with a contemporary mission.
Because the collection, from what I've never seen the collection, I'm looking forward to it. So can you tell me a little bit about
it's an incredible collection. It's 25 pieces from the 1800s, 1900s, 2000. It's always
2000s.
It's Tiepolo, Canaletto, Canova, Bellotto, Picasso, Manet, Modigliani, Renoir. I mean, Matisse.
It's the big names.
But it's also true masterpieces. It's not like secondary works by these artists. Are like,
and they're only 25 pieces.
25. We get a lot of requests from major museums because they are really the pieces by these artists. So it's great to be able to work with this collection. By 20 years, it was not moved. It was there, hung there, never moved. So when I said here, I said I would like to do the pista, and then I would like to do a project to reactivate the collection. So in the collection now, there's a small space which is devoted to this project, which is now starting Tiepolo. Mm-hmm. Before it was Pablo Picasso, Dora Maar. It's where every time we move one work from our collection and we create a project around it.
Oh.
And it's a way to reactivate the collection in the present. And often it tells you more about an image and how that image is contemporary than any label, So it's a good way to connect time, the past with the present, to explain the work through the eyes of another artist. And in this case, Simon Starling did a project based on the Tiepolo painting. So he started in 2019. So it was very natural to do this project because nobody like Simon Starling knows that work and has connected it through his own work.
So basically it's a site-specific project in relation to that particular piece of art.
It's a project that was started from that work, and it was not presented here, and we took it home to where it was originated. So it's really symbolic to have it here.
That's I'm really looking forward to it, and that sounds such a great way to, like you're saying, reinvigorate the collection and reinvigorate the view.
Yeah, exactly. And always, so for example, the previous show was Picasso and Dora Maar. We started from our Picasso, but then we brought in loans from the Bayer collection in Basel, and it was all portraits of Dora Maar, 3 Doras, amazing. Mm-hmm. But then we also brought in photographs by Dora Maar, because Dora Maar was not just a muse and lover, but it was also an artist, an intellectual figure, presence for Picasso. So it's through the presences of our collection we talk about the absences of the collection, because the collection, there's not everything. So how do you talk about what's not there? Okay. Through the collection, through its presence. So it's like an exchange that we like to do, and it's really like a work that bridges contemporary and past. And then we have the third floor, which is always going to be an exhibition, a changing exhibition, mostly solo shows. And we have Sylvie Fleury, because we are in a building that used to be a factory, male presence, a lot of macho presence here, cars, workers, always. And so it's an artist that works with the issues of gender, and in a way that deals a lot with our history. She talks a lot about, she deals and starts already with images by other male artists from her generation and before. So it's about building value and looking at desire and in today's society. And there's a mall underneath, so fashion, and it's very much connected. It's a show that it makes sense that it's here, and that's what we want to do. We want to bring in exhibitions that are interesting, that are new, but that always have a connection to this place. With
the exhibitions and with the main collection or the collection, what's the seems like you had 2 different shows this year with the Picasso and this piece, the Tiepolo, and then also Sylvie Fleury. What's the programming? Is it going to be once a year, twice a year?
We will open at least three times a year, but we will not always open everything at the same time. Okay. So one time is the exhibition and the collection. So we call Beyond the Collection this project, the Simon Starling. So in one time we open just the Beyond the Collection and La Pista, because we have 4 new works. Yesterday we opened with 4 new works. So it depends, Sometimes we open only 1 project, sometimes 2 at the same time. It will be, because the Pista will be ongoing. Can you
tell me a little bit about the Pista?
Yeah, the Pista is like the really challenging situation, because we're on a roof of a car testing track that was built. This building was a Fiat factory built in the 20s that was soon left because they needed more space. But so they were building cars and then using the ramps to drive down. So it was really like a production site. And then then the Pista stayed, of course, and it was this very tough, concrete space that was beautiful, but was really not definitely a place that could be used as a walk, pleasant walk. So when I arrived, they had just turned it into a garden. So the pista is still can still be used, but it can be used only on Mondays when we're closed. Otherwise, people would be run over, of course, by
So
cars.
they actually bring cars up?
For electric cars.
Oh,
Yes.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So on Mondays, you could take a car up and drive it because, of course, there are no people walking around because the museum is closed. The rest of the time is a walk. It's like a high line. And it's really incredible because you see Torino. I mean, the mountains, unfortunately, not today because it's foggy. But you see also the landscape, all the snow-peaked mountains that inspired Mark Leckie to do the work that you'll see on the parabolic, the big video LED screen.
How many pieces are here?
Now we have 11 artists on La Pista. 7 we opened in May, end of May. And now we just opened yesterday 4 new projects, which are Nan Golden's Billboard, that Superflex text, the Liam Gillick in the ramp, and the Marco Giordano on the pavement.
Permanent pieces?
They are extended loans. So
cool.
sometimes they will stay long, sometimes very long. In some cases, we alternate. Like a video piece doesn't make sense and it stays for very long. So this is Louise Lawler audio piece. She's singing birds, but the names are actually artist names. Like Lil Conchi Vito, or like Soloit, Gilbert George, like this. And it's a perfect counterbalance to this place that the history, it's only men, no? You have workers, cars, and then you have 25 artists in the collection that are only men, mostly portraying women. So our program is not going to be only women artists, but definitely there's a lot of we gave a lot of importance to this presence of women artists and presence of artists that deal with this issue of gender. So, yeah.
That is really cool.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
And because so many things to say at the same time. So it's also the idea of the monument and how can you work with public sculpture today, public art. What is the monument? Does it have to be sculpture, like more typical sculpture? Or can it be audio or light or neons or video? Or even a billboard that allows us to work with artists that work with images. Because otherwise you could not invite a painter or photographer here. Whether with a billboard, which we just started with Nan, it's going to be a format that allows us to present really art in a way that is possible here, because we are on a roof, so weight limitations very high, otherwise we go through, and you cannot drill because otherwise it will rain in the offices. So it's really challenging. You have cars that go through, so it's really a challenging space. So there are a lot of things that basically artists cannot do, but when they have ideas that work, it's fantastic. So it's also very challenging as curators, because I curate this with Lucrezia Calabro-Visconti, to think of ways, to interact with the space.
Well, I think one of the things that you were telling me, and your name just slipped my head, but was that there are 56,000. There were since May, so in the past 6 months, 50.
Yeah.
That's a lot, and I think that's really great because this. I know we're on top of what's now a centro commerciale, so yes, that's a gathering place, but it seems like you've reinvigorated the concept of community.
But yeah, exactly. No, that's really what we like to do. In fact, we divided the ticket for the pista is separate, so you can buy only for €2 and come only here to do a walk, which is a more democratic way of bringing public in that maybe is not ready to go into a museum. Mm-hmm. But in this way, they'll encounter works, they'll read the text, and maybe they'll become curious to get into the museum as well. And then it's nice how we see that people buy the first ticket and then they buy the second ticket. So it means this is working, because otherwise they would have bought right away the full ticket. So it's a way to also bring contemporary art closer to the public. And I cannot hide there are people that come here to look at the plants, which is great, because and you have people that are interested in architecture. So it fits that many interests, and that's maybe the good thing. We really want to embrace that. We don't want to say, it has to be rigid program. So we want to be very open. And in the future, we like to do podcasts, public programs, here. Now we have the performance in the afternoon, but it needs to be activated, the space. And yeah, and so also we did the bar that was not
That was
before,
really-
it didn't exist before. So it's turning it more and more into a destination.
Well, it's great to see the transformation. So thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing the performance as
Ah,
well.
so-
And I'm going to take a walk all around here
Fantastic,
because this is like, to me, this is mind-blowing. It's wonderful. I remember when it was completely, there was nothing on here, and it's so great to see it, like you said, as a high line almost.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the weirdest place now, because look at the parabolic. It's
Yeah.
it's a high line, and then at the same time, it's so typical of Torino because where you have cars that can speed on a roof. So yeah, so for sure.
Well, Sada, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks to you.
Thank you to Sara and everyone at Pinacoteca Agnelli for making this episode happen. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. The editor of Ciao Bella is Mastro. Production manager is Jenna Spray. If you're new to Ciao Bella, take a peek at ciaobella.co, our all-encompassing Italy-focused website, where you'll find insider insight on contemporary Italy, and sign up for our newsletter for new episodes and articles. Follow me on Instagram at Erica Firpo, and follow Ciao Bella on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Leave us a rating or comment. Ciao, ciao!